Hello. Road to CTA, Episode 1. Road to CTA is a new series I start, which will cover my personal Road to CTA in a multi-part series on a weekly basis. And I want to start with what I think is one of the foundations today is the daily study group. As many of you know, the CTA is different than anything you have done so far, than anything you will probably do in the future. It's very different from all your certifications you did up to that point, from all your trailheads. I think most of us can achieve 15 to 20 certifications or 500 to 1,000 trailhead badges, mostly by ourselves. Some of us form some kind of study groups, but it's mostly loose study groups or some webinars, something like that. The CTA is completely different in all of these certifications. It's much, much harder. And it's almost impossible to achieve alone because the CTA is a team project. Most people who achieve the CTA are part of some kind of study group, have some mentors, are part of some larger CTA community. I was lucky enough to be part of a very dedicated daily CTA study group. My study group comprises of 4 people. We are still in contact. 3 of us achieved CTA within the last couple of months, and the 4th person still is waiting for their review board date. And I'm sure once the 4th person gets the date, we'll pass, no questions there. We think our study group has us set up for success. To make sure you are also set up for success, you are also ready to achieve your goal of a CTA. I want to share my thoughts, our thoughts on why you should form a daily study group. The focus here is really on daily, what this daily study group can be like, how ours was like, but also how I see other people form daily study groups. And lastly, where to actually find your study partners, how to get started. So I liked to fool myself. I thought I'm ready. I know it all. I'm one of the best in my field. I'm a Salesforce expert. All I have to do is study a little bit and I become a CTA. You don't know what you don't know. And you need people to challenge you. And only when these people challenge you, you will be able to identify your gaps. And together with your daily study group, you can then fill in your gaps, one gap after another. It's not small gaps. And it's not only big gaps, it's a lot of big and small gaps together. And one way of finding the gaps besides discussions and just plain nerding around is doing mock exams, a lot of them. I did more than 30 mock exams and most of them with my daily study group, because having a dedicated study group where you just do one mock exam after another is really, really helpful. Don't take me wrong. Don't do all your mock exams with the same people. Switch it up from time to time. But having one core group where you really polish on your mock exams is really helpful. And for me, there have been some really dark times during my CTA preparation. I can remember 4 or 5 months in, I had a burnout. I didn't want to do it anymore. I felt like an imposter. I thought I can never do it. The study group was there to help me out, to keep me motivated, to keep me going. You need somebody, and a group is better than one person, who keeps you motivated every single day. And this is the main reasons why I think you should form a study group, a daily study group. The daily study group, this is my disclaimer here, does not replace your study partners, your classes, your courses, your team, company internal, special class, whatever you do, not your Flow Republic. It's the foundation on which you build everything else on top. Because your daily study group should meet daily, Monday to Friday, every day for 1 hour, the same time. Don't make it complicated. For us, it was every morning, 7 o'clock, Central European time. It can be 3 o'clock in the afternoon, whatever fits for you, but we knew every day, same time, same place. We had 4 people. I would recommend no more than 5 people. Everything above 5 people, you lose cohesion, you lose cohesion. You need a small dedicated group. You need a group leader who makes sure that the group stays functioning. A group doesn't run itself. Somebody has to set up the meetings. Somebody has to maintain the study plan, make sure that the mock exams work, uploads recordings, stuff like that. You should at least start 6 months ahead of your review board date, rather 12 months, because you're gonna have to study a lot together. And the more time you have, the better you're gonna be prepared. And lastly, it's very tempting to start to study with your friends or your colleagues. I would say do the opposite. Study with some people you don't know yet, somebody who is as different from you as possible. Means from a geography, from a background, from an experience point of view, even from a cultural point of view. The more different than you are, the better, because this helps you, again, to get challenged, to learn something new from this other person, and to identify which gaps you have. And this already brings me to the last point, where to find these study partners. I mean, they don't grow in trees. I found mine in the Trailblazer Architecture community. Trailblazer Architect community, the classic way, writing a post, looking for study partners. You can also check out the Ladies Be Architect community. There's a lot of people there. If you join something like Flow Republic, you have access to a huge group of dedicated, motivated people. LinkedIn and Twitter, of course, is always a good place to go. And lastly, the personal network. But again, here, try to find people as different from you as possible. And this concludes my first session on Road to CTA, on the daily study group. The daily study group, if you take it seriously, can be something where you will have a lot of fun. I mean, I'm a Salesforce nerd. Be a Salesforce nerd, have fun. Meet daily, talk about Salesforce, talk about ideas, concepts, theories, whatever you feel like, just do it. It's a great piece of fun. And with that, I want to say thank you very much for listening, to watching. See you next week and have fun.